perfume mixed with barbecue in June was the smell of love in my home. I believe in you and there ain't nothing you can do was the soundtrack of my life.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. Again, Mike Riley, we're very, very proud of you. The last two graphics that you saw were just an introduction to our wonderful guest that we have. Her name is Tahira, and I'm so, so honored and grateful that she accepted my invitation to come on the program. I saw the first graphic that you saw about the workshop on the Newcastle County website, and I immediately reached out to her, and she immediately responded. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Pleasure. Really, truly.
So tell us a little bit about you and storytelling first, and then we'll get to the workshops.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm a professional storyteller. I've been doing it more than 2 decades. I stopped counting after 2 decades. And I do work in school districts, festivals, conferences. I even do work with governments and social service organizations who wants to craft a message for the community. I'll write a story or write a song that gets out an important public service message as well. And I blend story and music and poetry and song, so it's very high energy, very interactive, and it all derives out of the African oral tradition that's throughout the diaspora.
Why storytelling, though?
Why storytelling?
Why storytelling?
You know, if you tell somebody a fact, they may remember it. You know, if you tell them the truth, they may believe it. But if you tell someone a story, it lives in their heart forever. It really does.
So tell us a little bit about when you took that step, because after you agreed to come on the program, I did some research on you.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So tell us about when when you decided to take that step from corporate America to the world of storytelling. Mm-hmm. Why was it so important for you to make such a transition?
So when I got the idea of it is when I saw an amazing storyteller, Charlotte Blake Austin, at the Philadelphia Please Touch Museum. And she was doing a Kwanzaa program. This is about in 1993. My daughter was she was just a year old. And she was doing a Kwanzaa program. And I was watching and listening. She was explaining the holiday of Kwanzaa in story. I was like, I do that. I do that in my family. I did it with my father. I did it in high school as president of the Black Students Union. It's something I did. Sharing your culture is easier to remember things through story. And I was confused. How did she come to be at this museum? And when I talked to her later, and she told me that she belonged to a National Association of Black Storytellers. I was like, there's a National Association. And that there was a local chapter in Philadelphia, a local affiliate just starting called Keepers of the Culture. And you should come and join. And it just blew my mind. That's when the seed was planted, because it's something that was just a part of my life. And when I joined Keepers of the Culture and I joined the National Association of Black Storytellers, less than a year later, I ended up quitting my job. So it was something that I got to show up and be me and get paid. It was always who I was. Mm-hmm. I was writing since I was old enough to hold the pencil. My father and mother always encouraged that. And so it was always me, and then just God put this woman in my life to show me that this was another way. And I had been praying for a way to spend more time with my daughter. I was newly married and had a brand new baby, and I didn't want to go back to work. And I felt like I was wearing a mask. Parlon Dunbar has a poem called We Wear the Mask. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was wearing a mask going into corporate America. Maybe some of your viewers can identify with that. It wasn't authentically who I was. I tried to do the Claire Huxtable thing. That was, wear the suit and do the thing, I was in there. And more when I kept hitting that glass ceiling, and I had to be less and less of who I authentically was, I couldn't, and I wanted some other way to sustain my family and make a living as something I love. And bam, I ran into Charlotte Blake Austin and saw this. And it's naturally who I was, and I got to step out and do that. It was not an easy thing to do, but things moved. They actually begged me to leave and actually paid me to leave. So it lined up. And when you are sort of step into the work that you have to do in the world, things move in alignment to make that possible.
So it sounds like you had all these abilities already inside of you, but after you met Ms. Austin, it just opened the door for you to step through.
Absolutely, it really did. And it's amazing how the synchronicity of things, the divine synchronicity of things. And when I joined Keepers of the Culture, I got so involved and I ended up being president there. National Associate Black Storytellers had a festival, they still have a festival every November. And when I went and saw these storytellers from around the world gathering, and we were circling up one day in a hotel room of a dear friend who made transition, Opalanga Pugh, and the circle was being led by Teju Mola. Teju is a wonderful storyteller out of Milwaukee, and I heard him say, "Thank you for making me different." And each person in this circle knew what he meant by that. I was like, wow, yeah, because I always felt weird, always felt different, you know, and it's like, thank you for making me different. Thank you for making me aware and a conscious and being courageous enough to walk in a room and tell the truth no matter what the circumstances, especially if it's the truth that helps heal and inspire and inform my people. Thank you for making me different.
So I know a lot of things that people do, their heart is involved in it, that makes them move further in what they do. We have rappers, we have people that do spoken words. So let's say it's a youth out there that might want to be a storyteller. What was the best thing you can tell them? Because you have some of these kids, and I hear them in the street, they're trying to rap, and I'm like, please, just stop, stop.
Goodness.
But their skills that they have might be something where it could be storytelling the same as someone that does spoken words. So is there anything you can tell the youth, like other than your heart to be involved in this, what could they do if that's something that they want to see moving forward with?
You know, I think if a young person is interested in using their words and to be a performance artist in that way, first study, you know, the greats, you know, study, and the Parlons Dunbars of the world, Langston Hughes, James Baldwin. I mean, study your craft, whatever you're going to do. I mean, everybody has a unique voice to bring to whatever industry you're in, but there are folks that came before you that you should spend time and study. And also, if there's somebody in your immediate area that is doing it, go, watch, learn. You know, which is, and I offer, in addition to being a performer, I also instruct. And we have a wonderful program that just began yesterday with the Newcastle County government, where there's a workshop, and it's about 6 weeks long, and I'm teaching storytelling. I'm teaching young people ages 8 to 18 who are interested in using their words. And it's a performing art. You know, there's a difference between being a literary poet or writing than performing what you've written, right? And so in this workshop, I guide them in how to craft your story, where to find the ideas, where to find your authentic voice, and what is it that you have to say to your audience. And so I think, number one, study those who came before you, be true to your craft, and find some mentor to connect with.
Wow, that is great. Now, everyone, adults, kids, she said study. Study means academics. Academics, you know, remember that.
Yeah, academics and studying on your own, because so often what you need to be successful in this world, you're not going to get from school. I'm just going to tell the truth.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So where's the workshop at?
So the workshop is going to be held, is being held every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Art Studio, which is inside the Absalom Jones Community Center in Newport, right? And it's from 10 to 11. It's for ages 8 to 18, and it's made possible by a wonderful grant, in part by the Delaware Division of Arts. So that's so important that our state art organization supports this kind of programming, and it's open for youth 8 to 18.
Can I come Saturday and videotape?
You sure can. I'll give you a number to call, and if someone's interested in registering, the number to call is 302-995-7661.
That's one more time.
302-995-7661 to register. And I also talked to Carol Doherty to make sure, because you know, that the children can be filmed.
We haven't been there in years. We were invited to the Absalom Center several years ago, either for photography, pottery, or both.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. I think it was both.
They have a lot going on there.
They do. It's a little jewel tucked way in the back.
Is it Newcastle?
No, it's in Newport. Like if you're leaving Walmart and you're going back onto whatever that road is, it's way in the back. And I used to go there frequently with Terry and Carter And they have such wonderful programs there.
They really do.
So
it's vibrant. It's vibrant.
Like I said, I was on the website and I was looking around, and I'm like, "What storytelling? Are you kidding me?" And it was And then I wanted to get you on as soon as possible because it started yesterday.
It started yesterday, and it runs through April 1st, and then it culminates with a storytelling festival where those participants in the workshop get to perform. And there will be other national and regional professional storytellers and poets on in the festival as well. And they're calling it Inspirational Storytelling Festival, Inspirational Storytelling Festival. So not only are you crafting and you're writing, you get a professional to give you feedback, you get to perform at the end of it.
That's wonderful.
Which is just great, right?
And